So yeah, welcome to Xenoblade Chronicles X. I'm Jordan.
Oh, I'm Daniel.
Oh, I'm Will again, but I think we introduced ourselves in the first part, so.
Yeah, but yeah.
Oh, but this is Elma.
Yeah, so we're finished with the character creation, so we're at the part where things are actually happening. And yeah, so this is the context of your character creation, I guess.
I like this intro. It's so suspenseful. Like, I'm just ready to be propelled into this world.
I'm sort of enraptured here.
Ah, a screen.
I really like character creators where you wake up in a hospital bed and it's like, you know, that's why you look so different.
Oh, shoot. This reminds me exactly of a 3DS game. What's it called now? It was a visual, not really a visual novel, sort of a point and click.
Are you talking about 999?
No, not 999. Not 999. Another one. I'm gonna see if I can rock the wiki.
Hey there. Looks like you're all in one piece.
It was a dark and stormy night.
A great Canadian novel, narrated by Jordan.
I would totally do that.
You can go over to the Gutenberg Project. Are you guys aware of the Gutenberg Project?
No, I'm not.
But
It's
I'm
this
intrigued.
thing where people basically just like volunteer themselves to read through public domain novels as like audiobooks.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Oh,
So hey, you want to do that? Go for it.
that's pretty neat. There's also a, to that point, I think the Toronto Public Library just said that, or just announced that you could print like full, like paperback books.
Yeah, it's
for,
expensive,
like
but it's like a pretty cool thing.
Okay, yeah, I've heard it recently. They've knocked down their price though.
Yeah.
But yeah,
My name's
pretty
Elma.
neat.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
If you want
So
to
this is
self-publish.
Elma. She's basically one of the main characters.
Is she your like Isabel in this game?
Don't even
Isabel?
know your own
Like Isabel from Animal Crossing, like the newer one? Like she just like
no.
shows you around and
No, I think the Isabel comes like basically after the prologue. That's
Okay.
Lynn, who is not going to be seen in this thing because she comes after the prologue.
see.
But Elma is basically like the commander who rescues you and goes out and tries to find like people who survived the impact, because apparently most of the people on the voyage were like in stasis, and when the ship went down, they just sort of were like, okay, a bunch of them sort of landed all over the place. We need to go find them. But most of them didn't survive, because right now you're basically the only one in the area who
I'll get
did.
you up to speed
Right.
here as best I can.
And I can't remember if we talked about this in the last part or before we started recording, but this is not a true sequel to the first Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii, is it not?
I have no idea because I have never played the original Xenoblade. But I mean, there's not really anything I can see that seems to call back to it. I could be wrong, and I'm just not recognizing it. The only thing that I saw that called back to it was Lynn, the character I was talking about, who I guess is your Isabel, who she's like that the little girl with the white shirt that's always in the promotional trailers and such. She has like she has a pair of hair clips that look like Monato's. That's the only thing I've been able to find that calls back.
So I think, and I can't confirm this, but I'm pretty sure it's sort of like a Final Fantasy type deal where it's, you know, it's not really connected. It's connected maybe more in terms of mechanics or certain tropes or like an aesthetic, and not so much the plot stuff. But it also might be that it like all takes place in the same worlds, but isn't actually connected, or it might take place at a different time in the same world or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's not a direct sequel. Like I don't think any characters.
Like a glorified spiritual successor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here you just try to figure out the controls, and eventually you learn the battle system, which I'm just going to say it right now. I don't understand the battle system in this game. I think I have about 2 or 3 hours experience of this game, just because I haven't had time to play beyond the prologue too much. But here's the first battle coming up, and it basically says, okay, just, keep attacking, but it gives you no context onto the random stuff that just shows up on screen. Because I mean, you'll be attacking, and then you have your abilities below you, but you can only use them with the D-pad, and then you have like this QTE that comes up like every few minutes, and to this day I have like no clue what they do, and nothing has bothered to explain to me why this stuff even exists.
So is it like?
To be fair, sorry, say what you were gonna say.
Oh, I was just gonna say it reminds me of Final Fantasy 13. I think that tutorial was technically like 10 hours or something.
Oh yeah,
that tutorial is like 20 hours.
20 hours.
But also, I kind of like I don't. I kind of like Final Fantasy 13. I know people give it a lot of flack. I think it's actually kind of good.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I ever finished Final Fantasy 13. I liked it a little bit, although I gotta say, like, I hated a lot of the characters. Like Hope, just screw that guy. But like, yeah.
From what I've played, I remember enjoying like the combat system, and I didn't mind the linearity of the game. I know that's what turned off a lot of people, but
yeah, I mean, the way I see it, you know, Japanese RPGs are not great at. Japanese RPGs and Western RPGs are so different. You know, Western RPGs are really more about this sort of big world and more about creating a character and seeing how they react to things. But like Japanese RPGs are actually pretty linear, and they sort of have this illusion of being non-linear. It's sort of like now you have an airship, but there's really just a couple side missions that you can do in addition to your main mission. It's like pretty linear, so I was not bothered at all by the.
See that little QTE that came up over there?
Yeah.
I still have no clue what that does.
Okay, maybe it's like a first hit kind of thing.
Oh, possibly. Yeah, I'm sure you'll get. I mean, I'm sure you'll figure out like by accident as you go on throughout the game.
Yeah, but I just kind of caught me off guard because like I was expecting it to explain exactly how this battle system works. It's like, press R to target, press A to attack, and that's all it's told me.
It's there are games where like you may not understand the combat system completely, and it usually happens in games like this, and you'll still find a way to like win battles, but you've always got that nagging sense. It's like, am I still doing it wrong, or have I got it down? I'm playing Sword Art Online, the game Sword Art Online. It's the anime. It's an anime, but they made a game for it, and it sort of the combat system reminds me of what we're seeing here on the screen. Not as refined, but. To this day, I'm not sure if I'm playing that game right, but I'm like, you know what? It's working. I'm just gonna keep going with this.
Sure.
Yeah.
In the case of this game, Jordan, I mean, if you've only played 2 to 3 hours of this game, I mean, this is like a over 100-hour long game, right?
Yeah, and I understand that, but I mean, like, you were talking about, like, Final Fantasy 13, like, yeah, that tutorial was basically stretched along the entire game, but at least by the end of it, like, the end of every little tutorial section, I understood what I was doing.
Yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy 13 has those... it gets a lot of flack for that linearity and for like taking a long time to open up its actual combat system, but it actually is smart because it gives you all these different like combinations of two characters, and that lets you see how like the sort of role system, how these people are supposed to interact with each other.
Yeah, I actually don't have any complaints about the linearity or the combat system of 13. I actually thought the 13's battle system was great.
Yeah.
So I don't really have any complaints about that. But there is just so, like, for example, I know this game, like, you know, it's good. Yeah, it's a strong ass bug. Because this thing, apparently it can, you know, withstand bullets. And
you're not using shoe.
I don't know, but, like, this thing is, like, my issue with this is just that it puts you, first it says, you know, just the basics, which is R and to target and A to shoot. And, I mean, that's nice and all, but it doesn't really tell you that you're basically locked into only attacking every few seconds, that you have all these abilities you can use, that, and I mean, I would not have figured out the abilities if I didn't know that I could only access menus with the D-pad. That's basically how I realized I could use them. But, I mean, it still, there's a whole lot of elements that I just don't understand with this battle system. And I'm starting to get used to not knowing what I'm doing, but it's just, I tried figuring out by going against like a whole bunch of these enemies in this area because they seem like they're pretty low level. And I mean, I don't know why I suddenly have like a fourth ability that was not there before.
Oh, well, there was a thing earlier that said that you had gotten a class up and you had a new art or something.
Okay.
It seems like it's sort of like an MMO combat sort of thing, right? Like it's a lot of like managing cooldowns and that sort of thing.
Yeah. I'm just kind of weirded out because I was at the time I was weirded out because like it does not give you a lot of context for what is going on.
Sure.
And a lot of the UI elements I find are not done extremely well because I mean, and you'll see this later on, the health over there, it's nice that it does sort of heal up like immediately after you exit a battle, but you will not notice it in the heat of battle most of the time because it's just so small. Like you could be dying and you will not notice.
Actually, I was going to ask another question, but that reminds me of Arkham.
What is this
Arkham
thing?
games, but
Oh, Jesus.
I have no idea.
you can.
Apparently they have no colliders.
You're clipping right through it.
They have no colliders.
Actually, I had a question about about your partner, Jordan. How do you have control over what your partner does? Like, can you give commands or actions, or are they sort of acting on their own accord?
I found out later that you can give them sort of loose reactions, sort of like a general, sort of like how in Persona, you can tell your guys to like hang back or do something, but you can't actually control what they do.
Oh, like in Persona 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sort of like that. Sort of like that. But you aren't really given. You can't tell your guy to use heal, use fire something or whatever. You can't actually control them. You only really control yourself. And I mean that's great and all. I don't really mind that. The only problem is that like because it doesn't tell you how the battle system works too much or how you can command that, because I found that command thing by total accident, and how you can deal with certain things like healing. Whenever you're, up until very recently, the last time I played it, you have no control over like whenever somebody needs to get healed, because you'll find out in the next part, like, healing is never really explained. Up until I think the last time I played it, I didn't have a healing, and then suddenly I just had a healing option in my little skills there. But they'll ask for healing. I'm just like, how? I don't even know how to use items right now.
There's a menu? So I think Kingdom Hearts, actually a lot of games, but that's the one that came to mind. You can set you can set your character, like Donald and Goofy, to how often they heal compared to how often they attack, and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
but that menu's pretty easy to find.
Yeah, but I was just trying to figure out, and I'm still trying to figure out like the context for a lot of these things, because none of it's really explained. I remember back a few months ago, before this game came out, they actually released like this long 15-minute video over how their battle system worked, and I swear by the first 5 minutes, I was just lost.
I like how there's not like. Does this game come with an instruction manual that explains everything too? I'd imagine it's quite in depth.
To be honest, I haven't really bothered to check. I basically just shoved it into my Wii U and just started playing.
I don't know many people who start by reading the
Pride Rock
instruction
right
manual. So,
but
Rain's starting to let up.
it could, and perhaps this is a tendency of me not reading instructions and just trying to figure it out myself. But
I mean, do they still? I don't know if. I mean, most games don't come with manuals anymore. I don't know if Nintendo games do. I think other than Mario Maker, which has like a cool kind of here are some ideas for level stuff guide that comes with it. I don't think they come with manuals anymore.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they don't. I haven't really noticed.
But here's I think even though, despite I was frustrated with the battle system, and the gameplay, this is really what won me over. This cutscene, because it shows just so much of the world just uncovered now, and you're like, holy shit, I can go to all those places.
this is gorgeous. I was about to ask, you can actually travel to everything that you're seeing right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is great, and honestly,
That thing's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And one of the things that I'm really liking about this game so far, it gives me sort of the feeling I had playing Metroid Prime, where, I feel like if I was not here, everything here would be fine.
Right.
And everything would go on as it should.
Right.
it's like you aren't really a catalyst for all the stuff that's happening. You're just like one other part of this big mess. And, you know, this world really does feel alive.
These creatures are mesmerizing.
Yeah.
I just love looking at them.
Pretty
Yeah, this is sort of the feel that the new Zelda game is going for, is it not? Like, you can literally travel to, like,
I mean,
the
this
furthest
is
mountain you can see.
a open world game approach, right? It's like the idea of, hey, you look over there and you can go over there is not like a new idea. I think it's cool for Zelda to be doing it. I think it's cool when the worlds that are actually like cool looking, like this, seems pretty awesome.
Yeah, between Pride Rock and this cutscene, I just get a huge Lion King vibe from all of this.
Well, yeah, I mean they're zeroing in on a lot of wildlife, right? Like they're sort of showing you like, hey, here are a bunch of crazy animals, and they're all just sort of hanging out, and they have a habitat of their own, right?
And it looks beautiful.
Yeah,
oh,
definitely.
yeah,
It's
the
great.
details are just phenomenal. And this is like a low-res version that you sent us that we're watching, so...
Yeah.
Space dinosaurs.
Call this planet Mira.
Oh, wait, hold on.
any
That's the
stars.
stage from Smash, isn't it? In the background there? Is that the...
No,
No,
it's not-
no, what
it's
am I
not.
thinking of?
It looks kind of similar.
Yeah, the planes or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, such a tease. It's part's over. I want to see more of this magical world.
Well, that's what part 3 is for. You're going to see it, at least the path to that giant star habitat ship.